So holidays are coming up, and we have people reach out to us sometimes and say, how am I going to navigate conversations about abortion or politics generally when I'm hanging around with people who don't have the same view as me and might be really frustrated or hostile about it? I have several thoughts from experience. Take them for whatever they're worth. First of all, don't talk about abortion or politics generally, but especially abortion, unless you're sure that everyone involved in the conversation is consenting to the conversation. This especially matters in group gatherings when maybe one person really wants to talk about it, but then they want to have this kind of loud public conversation with you around other people who might not want to listen to it. Keep in mind, you never know who's had an abortion, who's had a miscarriage, who's had all kinds of different personal experiences with this that can really affect them listening to this conversation. I'm all for talking about abortion with people who want to talk about it. One time at a Christmas dinner, my husband's family, a big Christmas dinner, one of his cousins, in front of everyone, asked me if I thought that I could defend my position on abortion. And I said, yeah, I think I can. And I thought that he wanted to debate me on it. And it became clear that he actually wanted me to tell his dad why the pro-life position was correct. His dad didn't even bring it up. This is in front of everyone that they're all family with. And I said, I am not going to talk about this with people unless they want to. And he said, he's fine with it. I'm like, it's not clear that he is. And it's not clear that everyone else at this table is either. We can talk about it one-on-one afterward if you want. I'm happy to. But this is not the right context. Side note, his dad was not fine with it and did not want to talk about it. And you can't make people talk about it, nor should you. That said, if one or more people really do want to talk about it, and you want to talk about it, and you can do it in a way that there's no captive audience that has to listen to you, here's a few more ideas. If someone is being very disrespectful, you can still hold a boundary. You can say something like, I don't agree with you, and I'm not going to keep talking about it like this. Or you can say something like, I'm fine with talking about this at some point if you want to, but the way you're speaking to me right now, I'm not going to talk about this. If they want to engage and they're being reasonable and respectful about it, even if they're angry, anger and disrespect are different things, but if they're being reasonably respectful, then a few things to keep in mind. Look for any areas of common ground, affirm their good motivations for why they care about this and where they're coming from, and ask clarifying questions. You want to make it clear from your approach that you care about how they feel and what they think. You don't have to agree with people to care how they feel and what they think. Also, depending on context, sometimes you can do what I call the emotional download approach. If you have someone who they're clearly upset and they clearly really want you to understand and hear what they're saying, they're not necessarily being disrespectful, but they are emotional about it. Instead of trying to engage in a debate or anything approaching a debate, here's what you do. Let them get it all out of their system. Let them say everything they want to say. Ask them for more. Ask them, why are you angry? Why are you afraid? Why are you disappointed? Tell me how you feel. Tell me why you feel that way. Ask clarifying questions. Let them say everything that they really want to say about how they feel about the issue. And then when they're done, say, okay, I'm going to try to summarize what I hear you saying, and you let me know if I've got it right. And then do that. Try to summarize it in a way that is fair to them, what they think. Again, I will stress again, you do not have to agree with someone to correctly understand what they think. In fact, the only way you can agree or disagree with someone is if you first correctly understand what they think. So you say, let me know if I've got it right. You might not get it right the first time. And they might even still be upset about it. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this. Okay, let them tell you. Get to the point where you can describe their view in a way that they will say, yes, that's what I think. And then once you've got to that point, you say, okay, now my turn. Can you describe my view in a way that I will say, yes, that's what I think? And depending on their response, if they say, no, I can't, tell me, great, tell them. If they say, yeah, I think I can, let them try. And if they get it wrong, you can say, you got this part right, this part wrong, but I kind of want to tweak it. Hopefully you've established a demeanor of understanding and truth seeking. If they're still really aggressive and they tell you, you think this, you think that, and it's not right, and they're not listening to you, be like, okay, you don't seem interested in what I think. You seem interested in what you think I think, which is fine, but then I'm not really going to keep going with this conversation. So same as before where you hold the boundary. But if you can get to a point where they have sort of let out all the emotions and thoughts they have about this, they see that you hear them, they see that you are correctly hearing what they say, and bonus, if they correctly hear what you're saying, that's already progress. If you're comfortable, you can stop there and say, I'm happy to talk about this more at another time, but I'm just really glad we at least both understand where we're coming from. Something like that. Keep in mind that people rarely change their minds in a single conversation, and it's not your responsibility to make anyone change their mind. The goal here is not get them to agree with you. The goal here is get both of you to correctly understand the other one, and that is significant progress. The other goal is to show them that you're okay with talking about this, and if they want to talk about it with you, you can have a rational and compassionate conversation. That sets you up potentially for future conversations over time if you both want to. So to recap, don't force people into conversations they don't want to have. If people are being disrespectful or crossing boundaries, you can always say, I don't agree and I don't want to talk about it. If they seem reasonable and both of you want to engage in the conversation, look for common ground, affirm good motivations, ask clarifying questions, and you can always use the technique of letting them say everything they think and feel, get it out of their system, reflect it back to them, and then see if you can get them to do the same thing for you. And those are all good starting points. Now, if you'd like more information about actual content of an abortion debate, what are some specific pro-life responses to common pro-choice arguments, we have what we call our Abortion Debate Index. You can find it right here. It's just a list of dozens of pro-choice points and our content responding to them. So happy holidays, and those of you that intend to engage this, good luck.